begin. We out here, we podcast and
Episode 3?
Episode 3, yeah. I'm Andy.
I'm Jacob.
This is the Enthusicast, where we're two idiots who talk about cars.
Well, actually, one idiot. No, I'm just playing.
Jesus. So we are on YouTube currently. Eventually, we'd like to have other platforms, but we'll get there. So, today we are talking about specialty cars. And,
Specialty.
This goes wherever the hell it goes. It doesn't really matter, but please enjoy the listen. So,
If you hear some papers
yeah, there's gonna
flopping
be
around, and
there's gonna be papers.
yeah, this one's a little bit. I don't know. We're at my work, so we got a little bit more desk space than we did last time, but
We've
still
got a lot of more room
now we
space,
have
too.
notes written down
So
on
it's gonna
paper.
be echoey.
So
Yeah, we're professionals. We got photocopies and everything. We're good.
yeah.
All right. So, after you, sir, let's talk about specialty cars. Now, what denotes a specialty car? Something that's different, a production car that is different than one of its, what's the word? Constituents. Something that's
Yes.
slightly different, not a one-of-one kind of a car, although some of those may come up.
and we're talking of special editions of everyday cars in a way.
Mm-hmm.
We're not talking about supercars per se. There may be, I know I have at
There's
least
one super wagon on here.
I have at least one vehicle that is probably quite expensive, but
If it's the same one that I'm thinking of, it is very expensive. So anyway, let's start with your list. Let's start with number 1, Ford Taurus Show, or SHO if you're Conan O'Brien.
yes, I also called it an SHO. So
I've always just called it the Show because that's what my dad called it. I know, so Ford Taurus, super high output.
yes,
And are you talking about the first generation with the Yamaha motor or just all of them?
just all of them in general. I know the first gen was the shit.
Oh, yeah. That one's
the
actually a
second-
good car. The second gen is the mashed
ugly
potato
mashed
one.
potato. We call them mashed potato version.
They
Actually,
look like
Andy
they're-
coined that term.
They look like they're melting.
Yeah, they do. They look like they've been left outside in the summer heat for too long.
So does all
However,
those Fords.
They are still kind of cool, even if you get the second gen.
Yeah, because they have a V8.
and the new ones.
The new ones are
bitchin'. The
I-
new ones are very nice.
Cannot stand the gauge cluster on the new ones.
I haven't seen the gauge cluster.
You get a single, you get one analog with a needle, speedometer, and you get a shitty little digital tack that doesn't read right half the time,
Ugh.
and a fuel gauge. That's pretty much it. I'm
Really?
just yeah, I don't like it.
Are those a
I think-
six-speed auto or?
Yeah, it should be a 6-speed auto. It's a Taurus, Ford Flex, Ford Explorer.
Yeah, they're all on that same
Edge.
platform at that
Yeah, it's all
point. Yeah.
the same shit. It doesn't really matter. You got your shit on vibrate full.
Well, if I have it on sound, quick fact about iPhones: apparently you can't make them all the way quiet. They're either on vibrate or they're on sound, but you can't turn the sound all the way down. So
The fuck, Apple? Come on.
yeah,
Step
that's,
up.
That's a little stupid. But yeah, the Taurus shows are pretty cool. I remember there was a mashed potato generation, second gen, around town. There's actually a couple. One was for sale on Facebook, actually. My girlfriend saw it when she was looking for cars, and the guy wanted $1,000 for it. $1,000.
Yeah, but a V8 Taurus Show is not the...
Reliable car?
No, it's not a $1,000 pair of dice that I'm willing to roll.
Yeah, that's true.
You can get a lot of nice car for $1,000.
What did those shows have? They were the V8.
It was some crappy V. It was like a Duratec with 2 extra cylinders. I don't
Really?
remember.
It
what
wasn't
was.
like a 4.6 or something.
No, I don't remember.
If they put a 4.6 front wheel drive 4.6 in one.
Why don't we take one and put a Voodoo in it? That would be fucking sweet. For those that don't know, Voodoo is the 8,000 RPM GT350 motor.
Oh yeah.
Those are getting wrecked. You can get a full Voodoo powertrain for like 17 grand, 15 grand, something like that.
Really?
Out of a wrecked car. They're actually starting to come up. Your next one I see is also your next 2 are also a Ford SVT Ford Contour, which
I think those are bitchin'. Because, and I'm sorry if that keeps showing up on, or you guys keep hearing that. I keep bumping my knee on the table. But anyways, SVT Contours are cool as hell to me. I don't know why. I think it's just the fact that they took, it's not even, like the Taurus is a Taurus. Like nobody gives a damn about
RoboCop.
Yeah, no one gives a shit about a Contour.
Right.
No, if I ask probably anybody who's listening,
A contour is very.
what's a
frustrating.
contour? They're gonna be like, what the hell is that?
It's a makeup thing, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know anything about makeup.
But the Ford Contour was just a little, just a little economy beat around car. It was bigger than the Escort.
I thought. Oh, okay. I was about to say. I thought it was the Escort.
No,
It
it's
was
bigger than
basically
the
the same thing.
Bigger than the Escort, I believe, by a little bit. And the fact that they actually have an SVT, those are, I believe, they're a V6 with a 5-speed.
The hell? I didn't
Yes.
know they had a 6.
I'm pretty sure they're a V6 with a 5-speed. Which is
Let's get a picture of one.
which is badass,
I'd
right?
like to see what that car looks like. I know what a contour looks like, but I like to have my
they have a
memory
body kit on them.
refreshed. Oh yeah, that's right. They had the stupid ass side skirts that are just way too overdone.
Which I would drive the hell out of that thing. I think it's awesome.
I just
I like it.
I just
really
can't take
like it. Without a spoiler, it looks weird though.
Yeah, you ever seen a Cobalt SS without a spoiler? It looks like an old man with a comb over.
It looks like a Euro model. No, that's not a Euro model.
They
Let's
even
see
sell that crap overseas.
Let's see what engine they had.
Did they?
Yeah, they were a V6.
Oh, that's a 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
They are. Yeah, I thought they were supercharged. No,
Special Vehicle Team Duratec.
I was under the impression that they were supercharged.
So that engine's basically Ford just kind of taking what they learned from when they let Yamaha build their engines for them and said,
Their horsepower is 195 at 6,600 RPM. 195 horsepower.
that's as much as my pushrod Chevy Astro.
I know, but we're talking about in a little car.
Yeah, I guess
And
so.
from the factory with 165 foot-pounds of torque and 5,600 RPM.
60.
compression.
Does that say 6,600 RPM for
Yeah.
peak horsepower?
Yep.
Damn.
I know.
Does this have like a $7,000 red line or something? Damn, that is.
Probably. 2.5 liter V6 dual overhead cam,
Ew,
24
tiny.
valves.
It's a 60 degree.
So,
Impressive. That's, I guess, okay, those are not, for an engine that small, that is not a bad number. But I guess
Also-
60 degree, that's a good red line. I like that.
Interesting facts, production numbers. Total produced 6,535. In
Oh.
silver,
I
was
thought
the
I just
most.
hadn't seen one because nobody bought them.
No, the silver was the most. There was 2,487 of those sold. There was one in town.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was black and red with 2,300 and 1,600 respectively. So,
So your next one on the list is the Ford Escort SR.
yeah, I'm going to have to do some fact checking on that real quick. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called, but it is a Ford Escort ZX2
Mm-hmm.
with a
Just not a terrible
Roush
but-
engine. A Roush intake, I'm sorry.
The hell? Just the intake?
Yeah, I believe it has some upgrade. They have like 195 horsepower instead of 160, 150.
Out of
Ford-
a 4-cylinder? Or is it a 6 as well?
Yeah, Ford Escort SR. ZX2 SR.
I have never heard of that. Wow.
It says it's ugly.
Yes. In yellow, that is terrible.
Let's see what if I can get some.
0 to 60 in 7 point.
So
does
it's
that say?
actually quicker than the SVT Contour by a point of a second.
7.8 seconds.
Let's see.
I guess that's like Crown Vic territory. That's not terrible.
I was trying to see if there's some numbers on.
You can
0 to
usually
60.
just get on the interwebs and just type in blah 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 car specs, and somebody will give you something. Generally, I have never heard of that. That's something that
SR. Let's see.
I generally don't pay much attention to.
They were a 4-cylinder.
I don't pay much attention to Fords from like 96
They
to.
went from 110 horsepower to 143 horsepower.
Ooh.
So, Z-Tech,
Right.
you know that engine.
You know what ZX and a
It's the
number stands
doors.
for? Yeah.
It's the amount of doors. So ZX
Z-Tech
3 would
times 3 would
Yeah.
be a
Focus hatch.
and then there's a Focus 5-door, which is the ZX5.
Yeah.
Now there was a 5-door Focus and there was a 5-door Focus wagon, correct? Because I swear I've seen both.
Yes, there is a wagon,
Okay.
and the wagon is hideous. All those Focuses are hideous,
the
in my
wagon-
opinion.
The wagon. I kind of dig that Focus, actually. Have you seen the ST version that we didn't get in the States?
Yes.
That's a cool car.
That is a cool
sweet,
one.
That is has to be. I know the taillights are god awful on those cars, but that has to be
That's
my
one-
favorite generation of Focus.
That's one of the cars that made it, one of those cars you wouldn't expect, but that's what you see on like Forza and those games. So those cars ended up making it in there because we never ended up getting them, but they are a pretty cool car.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just like the Type R makes it in there, but no other Civics make it in there.
Yeah, I believe that was the first time I ever saw that first generation ST was Forza or something along the lines of.
And if you guys remember in our first episode when we were talking about what cars we had?
Yeah, first episode. Was our
my first car was a Ford Escort ZX2. This is why I had put this in here because I thought it was pretty cool, and I believe the production numbers were extremely limited.
Is it giving you ads for K-Series Honda parts?
No, I was definitely not looking up K-Series parts. Yes, it keeps advertising after I looked it up once for a K-swap for my car.
Jesus.
Anyways, also like $4,000, so.
But it's not worth it.
A lot of power though. Okay, the next one I
very near and dear to your heart.
Yes, and I'm gonna bring it up.
So gloriously lame Chevrolet Celebrity Eurosport VR, and the VR is the one that actually is worth half a shit, and the Eurosport is not.
Yes.
Right, because the VR had like actually some power.
No. Okay, so let me explain this.
$12,000. Holy.
Let me explain this. So the Celebrity is a Malaise car.
It's like a Chevy.
It's just
Corsica.
It was a
Citation.
Honda Accord competitor. It was made to compete with the Accord and
right.
the Camry, stuff like that.
Mid-size.
Yeah, and they weren't bad cars, but they were throwaway cars, and most of us can agree on that.
Most of them got thrown away.
They're a GM A body, the late A body, so they are
83 to
83 to 91. So that was the Celebrity Pontiac 6000, which some people will say never existed.
The Pontiac 6000 is a car that, as a society, we collectively imagined.
Yeah,
I've seen one.
Buick Century and the Cutlass Sierra.
Cutlass Sierra's
which
nice
there's
car.
always nice versions of all of those. There was a Eurosport. There was not a Eurosport, but there was a.
Well, there was a Euro Lumina that we
Right.
had. My dad had one.
But there was a similar to this. There was a heavily modified body kit that was made for the Cutlass Sierra. It was like the GTC or some weird. I don't remember what it was.
I've never heard of that.
It has this type of body kit on it, and they're also really rare.
Right. Well, they all grafted this. They just told Cars and Concepts to be like, "Hey, do something," and then they just grafted all that crap on all the different bodies.
But interesting fact about the Eurosport in general was the Celebrity was the first car to get that designation, which most of them all they got was slightly stiffer springs, and then they got this trim that had a red line in it, and it actually it sold like hotcakes.
You got a red stripe on the down the side of the car, didn't you as well?
Well, it depends on
like black molding and
that's what I was saying. There's a little red stripe in the black molding.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant interior. Well, interior got some funky stuff too.
Depending on the year, yes, but the Eurosport trim actually sold very well, so they added it to the Lumina, and they added it to the Lumina APV.
Oh, God, I've never heard of that. In case you don't know what a
APV
Lumina APV is, old silhouette Pontiac Transport. My brother wants one of those.
The extremely ugly van.
Yeah, if you're old enough to remember what a Dustbuster is, then you probably know what that car is.
But anyway, for those of you, we'll add it into the video, but the Eurosport are a very limited number. They had a body kit that was they were actually made, I don't remember who it was, but it was actually a dealer add-on. They were special edition.
The VR?
Yeah.
Oh,
and that's why they only sold like 5,000 of them over the however many years. However, the interiors...
They made a wagon, didn't they?
They made a wagon and a coupe. And the wagons look bitchin'. I will find a wagon.
I have seen one. There was a guy that on one of the forums that I was on, and he had like 2 or 3 VR wagons. Oh Lord! Yeah, it's a junkyard picture. It's got is that an
That's
early
an
Civic
on top
of it?
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Good God, those 3-spoke wheels are friggin' terrible.
Do you see that?
That's ridiculous.
Insane. Anyways, there we go. Yes.
Yeah, those 90s
I like those wheels.
Mustang Explorer wheels are just awful.
But I think it's bitchin'. I mean,
I think to me all wagons are cool. I generally like most.
And the interior's got an upgrade. They had bolstered seats Slightly bolstered seats. They had custom
like the
stitching.
what is it?
The door. What?
They're like the Recaro
Yeah.
Firebird.
Yeah.
Or was it Corbeau? It was Recaro. There was like a special edition Recaro Firebird that had just seats and a sticker. Was all you got.
But fun fact, the interior was only for a couple years, or was only for a year, and then they dropped it because it cost too much.
Mm-hmm. No,
Anyways,
that's DM for you.
very, very rare, and they're actually worth some money now if you have one that's low mileage that's not beat the crap.
It's a niche market.
Yeah, but people that like them, like if I had the money, kicking around, I'd definitely buy one just to say I could, and it would be a wagon.
Niche, fuck you, who cares?
There was actually one for sale that was a 2-door with 30,000 miles on it that was 5-speed.
A wagon?
No.
Oh, two. Oh, you said
It was,
two-door.
yeah, it was a 2-door, 5-speed Eurosport like this, but not this one's kind of
that shitty
this one's
and
kind of
rusty.
beat up. Yeah,
Yeah.
but just like that.
What
And
the hell's going on with the red discs behind the wheels?
It's-
because those are
It's stupid.
no way in hell those are the brakes. Those have
No.
to be covers that just
The wheels on those cars, the rally wheels that they got, is what they were called. They
have an offset issue.
no, they just have this. They look like that. That's part of the wheel. It's part of the wheel design, and then they're
Oh,
painted
Lord.
on the inside of their for body color. Also, that guy has a bitchin' square body Suburban in the background and a Firebird.
That
And a Camaro. Sorry.
That cannot be good for brake airflow.
No, and also they had what the fuck is that? Oh dear God.
Oh, that picture's been floating around for a while. It's a Ford Ranger with a New Edge SN95 Mustang front clip on it and side skirts and a stupid ass scoop just aft of the cab. Ooh, it's an extended cab.
Huh. Anyways, they didn't have a
God,
grill.
that's terrible. What the hell is that? Oh, that's early celebrity. See, no. Just go up one.
That one, yes.
Yeah, see, that's early celebrity. To
That's
me,
I would drive that.
I like that front end. That
One looks pretty cool.
I kind of
the
like those
two-door.
wheels. Yeah, but they also dress it up for all their ad photos.
Yeah. All right, on to the
It's
next
like
one.
the JL Wrangler. By the way, I just saw a JL Wrangler in person for the first time, and I got to drive it very, very briefly.
There's a close up of those wheels.
Oh God, that's terrible. But the JL Wrangler looks fabulous in pictures. In person, it's huge. It's just I don't want to say it's hideous, but it's not good. I get what they were going after. It was a Rubicon too. Sticker is $55,000. But the interior I thought looked fabulous. Wow, bolstered rear seat, bucket seats in the rear. No, that's a bench.
The bench. It's
Bench
a
with
bench
bolster.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's what they look. That's the interior that got dropped, unfortunately.
Well, that's interesting. But yeah, the JL Wrangler interior looks Caprice wagon. The interior on the JL looks fabulous in person. It's so much better than it is in photos. But the same can definitely not be said for
There you go.
the exterior. The JL is it's god awful on the outside. But I get it. You know, times change. The JK's been around since 2007, so it's going on 11 years. So
Also,
I get it.
Fun fact before we move on, they actually was going to originally be called the Eurosport RS.
right, because that's Chevy's thing.
Yeah,
the rally
but
sport.
then there was some reason that they changed it to VR.
Hmm.
Anyways, next vehicle on the list for me is
I've never heard of.
the Nissan Altima SER. This
I've heard
is
of
the
the-
2004, 5, 6, that generation Altima. I'll find one for you. I think they're awesome.
I've never heard of that. I know the Sentra SER, like the first
Yes.
gen, is actually a really cool
These.
car.
Yes.
If they'd made it in a Maxima, maybe okay, I guess that's not a terrible looking car. I prefer the Maxima because I think it's bigger, and I like the Maxima.
I'm convinced that they all came in red, but they have black housings on the inside of the taillights and headlights, and
Skeleton taillights, as I
they
call
all
them.
have. I don't like those taillights, but
They look
got,
cool on Chevy Astros.
They got fancy gauges.
An MPG gauge. Yeah.
So-
I hated that.
But I think they look good. They have a good stance. They have little lips. But I think that's aftermarket. But
that is not a bad looking car.
Yeah,
No.
I would like
There's
one of
a
those.
silver one up top.
Ooh, yeah, I like them.
Okay, yeah, that's not bad. I may have to keep my eye open for that because that might be pretty cool. How many of those do they make roughly?
I think I don't know the production numbers on those, but I believe they're a lot more common. This girl I went to high school with actually got one for when she got an Altima. It was her first car. Her dad bought one for her, and it actually happened to be an SER. That's how I found out about him. She sent me a picture of it a couple of years ago, and I was like, "Oh, that thing's cool."
Huh? That is.
Yeah,
That actually is.
So
Pretty
that's not bad looking. Those are a good looking car in my opinion.
Well, what do you get with this SER?
That is a good question. We should look up some specs on it because.
Well, you look up specs for the SER. I'm going to move on to your next one that is also a total mystery to me that I have never heard of. And this is the Honda Accord Euro R. What the hell is that?
It is. It's
it a newer
specific generation. It is basically an Acura TSX.
TSX. Oh, yeah, okay.
But it's an Accord.
Ooh, that looks terrible with those rain rails on the wind. Every car looks bad with those. Okay.
And then there's this one.
That's
an Accord Euro R. That's a 2000.
And what do you get? Just a shit ton
I
of VTEC
believe they're I think they're an H motor instead of a. Well, let me get.
Right.
I managed to not get specs down to
260 horsepower.
250 foot-pounds of torque. V6 6-speed manual.
Ooh.
Option.
Automatic optional. Okay.
Yeah. Upgraded brakes, 18-inch wheels, suspension. Stiffer, high-flow exhaust.
Okay. You know what? I'll have to keep my eye open for that.
Like, if I could get one of those with the 6-speed, I would be all over it. And I don't think they're very expensive.
No, that does not sound like a bad car at all. 4 doors, which is not my thing, but that might be cool.
Specs on those. 220. That sounds like an H motor.
7,200 RPM. That's fabulous.
That sounds like an H engine. It's probably an H23.
11 to 1 compression. Damn.
Yep, that's an H motor. Let's see, 11 to 1.
160 pound-feet at 6,700 RPM. Damn, you got to fight for it.
2156 cc's. So that's what 2.2.
21. Yeah, they'd probably go
2.2 liters.
So
that
H22. Yeah.
H22 more than likely. For reference, the American vehicle's got an F22 single overhead cam VTEC or non-VTEC.
Is your car's a single cam VTEC?
Yeah, my car is 1.6 liter single cam VTEC, 130 horsepower.
What is that like? What's the head on that? Like a Z? Is that a
Z6?
Z6. Okay.
So the Y8, which is the VTEC heads after 96 and 96 and up.
And then what's
so those
Y7?
OBD2. Y7 are non-VTEC.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah. So
I'll stay away from that.
Yeah. Although it's not that. I mean, that Civic I had didn't have VTEC. That black one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it didn't. It was a Y7 motor in there.
I kind of digged the car. I just hate the way it drove.
Yeah, it drove like crap.
That was terrible. And the steering wheel was falling off. So the next one is also on my list, and that is the so fabulous and black Mercury Marauder.
So the crown jewel of all Panther platform vehicles.
And I know an interesting little tidbit. I don't know if you know this, but the Marauder name comes from a car in the 60s. It was was it the Cyclone Marauder, or was it the Mercury?
I believe it was just called a Mercury Marauder.
Right, but it was based off of another car. What the hell did Mercury make in the 60s? Goddamn. Cyclone, the Cougar. There's something else. I can't remember exactly what it was. But anyway, so the Mercury Marauder Panther body is as I said, so black Crown Vic, basically. Like, you get... Isn't it sort of P71 underpinnings?
Yeah,
just a little bit?
There's some P71 parts, but then again, it's the same package as the HPP package that you could get on Grand Marquis.
The hell's HPP?
It's a high performance and something like that. You could, because they did have police versions. It's basically the P71 of Grand Marquis.
Except it has a shit ton of power.
Oh yeah, they say they rate them at 350 or 300. I think they can make
302 is what this is.
I think they can go much above that. Plus, they're fucking bitching. Yeah. They have fog lights, which none of the other models have, unless you have an LX Sport. I
swear that GS we have.
Oh well, yeah. I'm sorry. They have cool fog lights, and then they have Marauder. Fucking you'll know it's a Marauder because the back tells you it's printed in the bumper like the Mustangs are.
Oh yes, with that fabulous rear bumper that shows you the exhaust too.
Yeah, and it's just a nice car, but they are pricey. 20 grand for a good example.
Yeah, that's
For an 03 to 05 model, which are transmission issue prone, and
which I've never heard of though.
there is an issue with them. It might be limited to Crown Vics, but
They have an A40D, don't they?
I'm not sure. I think so.
Or E40D.
Yeah.
That's a band, isn't it too? E40D. Like, isn't it like a boy band or something? Or was it a rap group? I can't remember. My dad knows. I have no idea. No, you're thinking of you're thinking of UB40. That's another one too.
Yeah.
That was some crappy '80s band.
So yeah, that thing's cool, and they didn't only make it in black, by the way. They made it in red and silver.
Yes, I had some pictures here, but if you're gonna get one,
Get it in black.
Just get it black.
Although I wouldn't mind the red. Yeah. So, you guys are getting the trend of specialty cars now. What we meant by specialty cars, the special editions of cars that would normally be considered meh.
I think it's become clear.
Yeah.
So moving on, Volvo
V70R.
V70R, which I believe in one of the last ones we talked about the Marauder a little bit. V70. What the hell is a V70R? Is that just a fast wagon?
It's the wagon, yeah.
And that's the regular wagon, not the big one. That's the XC that I'm thinking of.
No,
the big one.
V70R is the wagon with, I believe they can get them in a 5-speed.
Ooh, that's one I didn't think of. The S60R.
Yes, I was going to put that on there.
Those are really cool cars. My brother wants one really badly.
I don't have a whole lot to say about the V70R. I just think something about a sport wagon. I love Volvos.
I like wagons.
I think they just look.
Like I said.
Volvos, you see Volvos and you're just like, oh, that guy probably shops at Whole Foods and wears Crocs everywhere. But at the same time.
Wears manual winding watches because.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the same time,
Manual
join Andy for his watch podcast.
Oh Jesus, no!
I'm just kidding.
No, I'm not ready for that shit. Yeah, Volvo V70R. I like wagons. I think wagons are cool. Now the next one I happen to love.
Yes,
and
I actually put this on here for you.
I would love to have one. That's the AMG Hammer.
Yes,
which is they took an E-Class, didn't they? Or no? Yeah, I believe it was an E-Class.
I think so.
In the 80s, AMG was playing around, and it was like a dealer option. You could buy this Mercedes from the dealer. So the wagons are really rare. You could buy it from a dealer, and then they would say, would you like us to send it off to our performance company, AMG?
Yeah.
And
there's also some funny history on AMG, but that's there for another story.
Right. And so you could go to any dealer, basically, and say, I would like you to take this and turn it into the Hammer, which coincidentally in German and English hammer means the same damn thing. So it has the same
The German
bravado.
word for hammer is hammer.
And so it's just a little Mercedes with, you get sweet dark charcoal gray, I think they made black as well, I believe. And you get a 6-liter V8. I think you get different gauges, perhaps, I'm not sure. I know some of them were stick. I don't remember which one is more common, stick or auto. But they're just freaking sweet. You get cool wheels. You get all the paint, all the trim. There's not a lick of chrome on the outside except for, of course, the star. And you get a real hood ornament, of course. Always a plus in my book. And the wagons, they did make some wagons, but I believe also the wagons are super rare. I think. Because I believe there was 2-door, 4-door, and wagon, because it would go off of whichever one you wanted. And not a lot of people really wanted, not a lot of people said, oh, I want my fast-ass wagon. Nobody gave a shit about a fast wagon back in the day. Okay, so it wasn't E.
Yeah.
Go back up just a little bit. 300E. Okay, 5.6 or 560E.
You can do 5.6, or there was a 6.
And the 6-liter is 6 even.
That
God
thing is
damn,
just-
that looks good in red. Okay, so there was red as well.
Hey, it's got color keyed deals in the wheels
Oh
too.
God, I hate that.
That would look
I
like
love those 80s AMG wheels though.
This guy.
That is really that's a 560. Now we're getting into the Hammer. That was the 560 AMG. Okay, which was a 300E, and then the Hammer is the same car in a different
I'm
color
trying to see numbers on that.
with the 6-liter.
32 valve. The
Big ass V8.
The engine initially used for the AMG Hammer was the 5.0 liter or the Board 5.4 V8 32 valve dual rod cam engine from first generation W126 AMGs.
This engine could be left in its original 5.6 displacement or bored to 6 liters. Germans don't fucking mess around. Like, if you got yourself like an A4 turbo over there, there's like, we shit on you because everybody's got a fucking V10.
Yeah.
Everybody's got an S5 with a V10 and a stick. Or a R8 or a freaking RS2 Avant wagon.
But yeah, that was a car that me and Andy both can agree that we would love to own.
I would love any a W124. I will really like Mercedes between 78, 76. I guess I could go back to W116, 74, 73, something like that. That 73-ish to 93, 92.
When they started getting real
after
round,
that, it's the SL up to 01, and that's it. I can't dig anything after the boxy SL.
I do like...
Because the SL stayed the same from like 88 to 01, and the SL was identical from like 72 to 88.
Yeah. I like SLs, but I like newer Mercedes.
Don't buy a 560 if you plan on buying an SL. I hear they're a pain in the ass. Just get the 5 liter.
Last one on my list for
good cars. Okay, so we did have this. Yours is slightly organized into best and worst. Mine is not. So far we've been doing best cars. Next one, ML55 AMG. I've heard of the ML35. Like, I know what the ML is.
I have the numbers wrong there, but I'm pretty sure the ML55
I've heard of it.
Is the
V8.
AMG SUV.
Oh, that's the older one.
Yes.
I thought you meant the newer one. Yes, that's the good one.
They have...
That's the... for those who don't know, that's the Jurassic Park ML.
340 horsepower.
V8 all-wheel drive.
Yeah.
They
have
some pretty damn cool.
They have some wide... They're like 265s stock. I mean, they are
like a 265, 65, so they're huge sidewall and they levitate when you go around a corner.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
I think those are good-looking cars. That Chrysler Mercedes era was kind of sucked, but that's a cool car. I understand where you're coming from. That X5M, to me, they're about on the same level.
Yeah, those would be.
I think the X5 and the ML both look fabulous. In that
I
early
prefer
generation.
BMWs. And that is my opinion. I've always been more of a BMW guy. However, because I could have easily put M5 on the list. Because if I had to put...
Well, to me, see, that's the thing, is I purposely didn't have any M cars on here because that's their performance division.
Yeah.
Like the Hammer, yes, AMG is Mercedes' performance division.
But that was
did
a
not
special...
make very many.
Yeah,
the closest thing to a truly special car to me was going to be the 8789 or 8678 M6 Coupe, which, god damn, is that a cool car. And they're like 60 grand now, which is retarded. But most of them are red, but they're really cool cars. I would love an M6.
Do you want to go to my worst, or do you want to talk about your best?
Let's go with my best before we start talking about shitty cars. Okay. I also have Marauder, which we already mentioned.
Yeah.
Hurst Olds.
Oh, yeah.
So Hurst Olds was, for those of you that like muscle cars, you probably already know that Hurst Performance Research and Oldsmobile had a long-standing thing. So a very brief history of Hurst. George Hurst got his start after the war. What he would do is he would take his commanding officers' cars, they mostly had flathead V12 Lincolns, Continentals and such, and Zephyrs and everything. I forgot about the Zephyr. So what he would do is take the then new overhead valve Buick and Oldsmobile engines, usually using a LaSalle transmission, which is a 30s 3-speed. I think maybe they were 4 in some cases. Cadillac transmission. LaSalle was Cadillac's first attempt at making their shitty own little off-brand thing. But anyway, so he would convert them to having these modern overhead valve engines and just sell them. And then eventually in the late 50s, he started just selling kits for swapping various different overhead valve engines into originally flathead powered cars. So anyway, by the 60s, the muscle car era was in full swing, and what he did is he took the mid-size Cutlass, which at that time was only available at its largest with a 400 cubic inch engine. At the time, GM had a internal ban against racing, and that whole period is because of Ferrari and Ford. They're the only ones that are doing anything with each other. That's all really crazy and complicated at that time. But so what Mr. Hurst did is take a mid-size Cutlass, and the 442 trim had the 400. That was originally 4-barrel 4-speed dual exhaust, and then it was 400 4-speed dual exhaust, and then it was 4-barrel carb 4-speed automatic and dual exit exhaust in the 80s.
Yeah.
But so what he did is he took the big 455 out of the Toronado, Delta 98, 88, the big cars, the Del Montes, things like that. He took the big heavy-duty engine and stuck it into a Cutlass with a little bit of cam, a little bit of carb, some exhaust, and made a beast.
Right.
68 Hurst Olds was silver with black stripes. They did not make very many. I don't remember the exact number on that car. And then in 69, they went to the now ubiquitous to Hurst and Oldsmobile white and gold. And for some reason, they just stuck with the white and gold, and that eventually made it to another car that I have on my list, the Hurst Chrysler 300 in 1970. The only Hurst car, specialty car, that did not come with a Hurst shifter.
Yeah, you
because
told me about this.
Because the 727 tranny in those 300s was such a piece of shit that they decided that customers should not be shifting themselves.
Yeah.
So you got a Hurst 300 with a little bit more power and a bench seat and a column shifter. That's all you could get. Anyway, so the Hurst Olds went on. It was a pace car, Indy pace car, a couple of different times, and eventually Hurst Olds disappeared in, I believe, 75. I think 75 was the last year it disappeared for a while. And then it came back one more time in 1979. And that would be the A-body platform, or better known as the G-body platform, because it's all the same damn thing. And after that, I believe they made 3,000. They're about dead even between white and gold or black and gold. And then in 83, for the 15th anniversary of Hurst Olds, they came back again in the new Aero body, the actual G body. And they were black with silver lower rocker panels and a red stripe. And they had a 307 Olds and the Hurst lightning rod shifters. And that was the other thing, is Hurst in the 60s, that man could engineer some freaking shifters. And it finally dropped for the final time in 1984. It was an identically equipped car, except it was silver over black instead of black over silver. And that was the end of the Hurst Olds. But I know 83 they made 3,001. And they were built by Cars and Concepts in Michigan. They were not built in-house by GM, but nor were the original Hurst Olds. So that definitely has to be on one of my best. I have one on here that I'm surprised you didn't put on here, even though they made a shit ton of them. Not like quite Ford Taurus levels of cars, but Turbo Buick. I can't believe you didn't have that on there. I'm going to give another brief synopsis of the history. 1977, fuel is expensive and there's not much of it. Power is few and far between. You can't find dick with power unless you go with Saab 99, that's turbo, or a Porsche 911, that's turbo. So GM decided, why not? So they stuck a turbo on their 3.8 liter Buick V6, and they started putting it in cars. In 1977, there is an ad that I think is just fabulous. I may have mentioned it before, but it says there are 4 turbocharged production cars in the entire world. 2 of them are Buicks. Because at the time, it was just the Saab and the Porsche, and there was no American cars, and those are the only cars that were turbocharged from the factory at that time. Oldsmobile was the first turbocharged automobile as well, 1962, on the Turbo Jetfire.
Oh, okay.
They blew up because they had a very early water meth system that people never had serviced. That's a story for another time. We can totally talk about muscle cars and shit like that for all day. But so Turbo Buick eventually got intercooled, and then it made some more power. And finally, by 87, they were finished with it. The final G-body ever made was a Grand National, which was the WE4 black on black on black on black package, as well as you got some fancy
black trim, right?
Black everything.
They came like the black grill and everything, right?
Yep. All the exterior was black except for the Grand National badge. The later cars have an intercooled badge that sits just underneath it.
Man,
and
that is beautiful.
The interior was black and gray.
Yeah.
Gray dash, gray everything, but black seats with gray in the center, like black on the bolsters and everything. They were Lear Siegler seats, which I believe is a designer or a manufacturer or something. Anyway,
sounds like a designer.
Right, and Turbo Buick was eventually killed because they were kind of expensive. And they didn't sell a ton of them, but they didn't.
Still an awesome
They're not
idea.
Super rare. They're really not rare. And
like that LeSabre.
Turbo LeSabre is rare. That is a rare car.
There was a LeSabre.
They only made that for a couple of years.
Posted on
that pastel green. We talked about that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, Turbo Buick was cool. It was bullshit that they rated 245 horsepower. Absolutely no freaking way. Because at the time, GM didn't want its darling Corvette to be shamed by a freaking Buick with a 6-cylinder because they had that god-awful Crossfire injection 350 that made 0 power. And Corvette was rated at 240, so the Buick had to be rated at 245. And GM kept it on the down low because they didn't want people buying it. They didn't want people knowing that, that company that makes cars for old ladies is faster than Corvette or anything else GM ever produced.
Yeah.
At that point. Let's see, what other good ones do I have on here? LX Sport Crown Vic. It's P71.
With a console shifter, which is pretty cool.
I happen to think that the final 500 Oldsmobiles were cool. There was 500 of each car made in 2004, and they were all the same color, this dark cherry color like my dad's Buick. And they got some special trim and some special things. They unfortunately
did it of every type of Oldsmobile for that year?
Yes, every single one. So unfortunately, that means there is a Silhouette Final 500 and a Bravada Final 500. But I would love a Final 500 Aurora. I think that is a beautiful car. Yes, that is exactly.
That actually is a very good looking car.
So all the Final 500 cars were all that same color, and they all had some special trim, exhaust tips and interior. They did a throwback to the older badges that they used in the 50s, 40s, 60s.
Is that the badge?
Yes.
Final 500 Intrigue?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so each one got a Final 500 edition.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I think they're really cool. Next one on my list is,
look at that.
To me, a specialty car. Okay, that one's pretty cool.
That's the
Bravada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trailblazer based, right?
Yep, same thing.
All right, go ahead.
To me, it's a specialty car. And I'm still, the Silhouette. And I've always wanted one. I saw one in person in a junkyard in Twin Falls, Idaho. By the way, go to Jalopy Jungle in Twin Falls, Idaho if you want to see it. It should still be there. Mercedes-Benz W116 450 SEL 6.9 liter, which is the big 450 SEL, nice car. Very, very nice car. They had, I think they had hydro suspension for 1 or 2 years. But it was just a big Mercedes that is the largest European production car, V8, largest production V8 in a European car. 6.9 liters, which is roughly 423-ish cubic inches. And they were fast. Like, they weighed like 60-something, like 5,900 pounds, like 62 wet, something like that. They had a dry sump oil system that was 12.5 quarts. Oil change interval was 12,000 miles.
Wow.
You got so much freaking oil in there that it's going to get fouled fairly, not very often. Couldn't think of what I was going to say there. Another Benz on here, I have the 190E 2.516 Evo 2.
Yep.
Big ass wang.
Oh, yeah.
Big chin spoiler, side
skirts,
huge wheels. That's a fabulous car to me. If you've played any freaking racing game,
it's in there.
It's there. In any racing game, it is there, and you will know it. I think they're just sweet. Golf GTI R32, which I believe it wasn't called the GTI. That's what I have it written down here as, but I thought it was just the Golf R32.
Yeah.
Which was, what were
Skyline guys, don't get your panties in a bunch.
It was a turbo VR6, I want to say.
I believe so.
Okay. VR6, that's a long story, that engine.
Yeah.
But it was basically just a stupid fast all-wheel drive freaking Golf. So it was tiny, it was fast. Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk. That is wicked because it's like in the last like 3 years, Chrysler has finally just been like, fuck it. So with all their cars, they're just like, oh, Grand Cherokee, cool, SRT8. This was like '05. It's like, let's just put the big motor in the Jeep and make a fast SUV a thing. And it took off, and just this year they decided, okay, Hellcat's doing pretty good, but everybody's had one, and that's old news. So Demon, make it stupid fast. And now they have a Grand Cherokee with the 700 horsepower, 650 pound-feet of torque, 6.2 liter supercharged V8 push rod that's going into the Grand Cherokee Trackhawk. And they sound beautiful in person. That car is so cool. The yellow brake calipers absolutely kills it for me on some of them. They get Brembo brakes, big wheels, nice interior, fake carbon fiber everywhere. But
fake carbon fiber?
I believe it is fake, but it looks pretty damn good. I'm usually against carbon fiber in most forms or trims or any way that you can put it on a car, but I think it fits right in right there. I think that looks
you
cool.
guys got to remember this is an SUV we're talking about.
Yeah, it's
you still get the practicality.
I have the
of an
shipping
SUV.
order for the car, and it was like I think it weighed in at 59 or 6,000 pounds, and I'm like, that is a big bitch.
I have a soft spot
They
for
move.
for the 2000 or late 2000, like 2008, 7, like that one that drives around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was. I thought it was '05 when they came out.
Yeah, 05. That
05, 6, 7,
that
8.
generation of those sound nasty. Same thing.
When you put exhaust, center mount exhaust. That's an.
Oh yeah, that's the one
I
that.
generally hate center mount exhaust on cars, but some cars pull it off.
Yeah.
Focus ST, as long as you keep the stock tip on it. If you put exhaust, it's just no, it doesn't look right. Everything's designed by the designer to
Velosters
make
have
it.
center exit, I believe.
Yes, they do actually. They pull it off pretty well. But I'm generally not like the Pagani exhaust, the 4 square that
Out the back, yeah.
That's just Scirocco 16 valve. That was just Scirocco was.
Scirocco's a cool car.
To me, it's like a replacement for the Karmann Ghia because Volkswagen was very good at just stretching a platform. You had the truck, you had the bus, you had the car, you had the sports car, which was the Ghia, and the Type 34 Ghia. That's a cool car. Anyway, so you have the Scirocco 16 valve. It was just simply that. It was a Scirocco with a twin cam motor that made a little bit more horsepower. You got some body kit. You got nice wheels. I think that's a fabulous car. Veloster Rally in that weird
the matte blue,
which I think
semi-gloss.
actually looks cool.
Yeah.
You can't even call that semi-gloss.
I guess it's technically semi-gloss.
It's flat.
Pretty
It
close
is.
to that, yeah.
Yeah, it has some shine, but no, not much. I think that's a cool car.
They're pretty cool.
As long as you don't get the 1.6, that's a cool car to me. Because sure, you get the full pack. You get the 2-liter. You can. But I've seen one that had a 1.6 and it was lame.
1.6T was the one that was for sale here.
Yeah.
You can get the 2.0 liter, but that's just the Elantra engine.
Yeah, but
They have
it still makes
almost
more power.
200 horsepower,
Yeah, but
though.
the 1.6 turbo it doesn't make enough to be worth it.
It's
to
close.
me.
The horsepower numbers are close. I
It
believe
doesn't
the
feel
1.6T are like 180,
It does not
and the
feel like
2.0s are like 190 or 200.
well, like the S. So you know the Focus ST.
201. Sorry, that's what the number
See,
is.
that's not bad. The 13, 14, 15 Focus ST feels so fast.
Oh yeah.
And it's not. It's really not on paper. It's quick, but it feels much faster than it is. And the Veloster Rally, and even the regular 2-liter Veloster, on paper, it's not a slow car. It's not far off from ST, but it feels slow. It does not feel fast. Justin, our buddy had a
Genesis.
a BK2 Hyundai Genesis with the 2-liter and the automatic. That car was fast.
Yeah, that car was
was stupid
He
fast.
had a tune on it and had some.
He had all kinds of shit.
He
on that
had
thing.
water mat.
Full exhaust,
Yeah.
water meth. Like
Yeah.
that
And
car
thing
was
stupid fast.
very fast, but
Yeah.
it doesn't feel fast.
No.
Nick's Mustang felt like it pulled harder, even though it didn't.
Yeah.
Stock straight axle Mustang, squat in the rear and it throws you into the seat. It feels really nice, but yeah, some cars just don't
I
feel
believe that has
fast.
to do with the suspension setup and stuff like that.
Okay, so I think now I also have some other ones on here. You guys can look these up for themselves. I don't want to take a shit ton of time here. Saab Viggen, I think those are cool. Lightning Blue would be pretty sweet. I also have Taurus Show Monte Carlo SS, depending on the generation. AMC Eagle Sundancer convertible, I think is cool. Yeah, I have some interesting ones here. But anyway, let's move on to
Worst cars.
Worst specialty cars. Shitty specialty cars.
These are our opinions, so don't take
your first one I do not agree with. But go on.
offense. You guys do not take offense.
Oh,
But
the
I
second
have-
one, fuck you if you like those.
I have an issue with a lot of these vehicles.
Okay.
For instance,
Let's start. Number one, which I have to disagree, but go on.
PT Cruiser Turbo. I think any form of... Okay, I will say that
PT
they
Cruiser-
are tolerable. But other than that, they don't have much going for them.
But the
Amber had one, remember?
Yes,
Eh.
but to me, the PT Cruiser, yes, when you look at it, it's terrible. No matter what way you look at it, inside, outside, upside down, who cares? It's terrible. It might actually look better upside down.
Probably.
It looks like a bowl, like a vase. One of those messed up vases.
Yeah,
by
it's an
some
art
shitty
project
thrift store.
upside down.
Yeah, but the Chrysler PT Cruiser Turbo is not a slow car. Like it's a freaking SRT4 Neon. It's
You know
the
what a
same
better
car.
example would have been the convertible Chrysler PT Cruiser.
God, or the convertible with wood paneling.
Yes.
Turbo convertible automatic with wood paneling.
With the chrome trim.
with the chrome door handles
Yeah,
and the chrome. Oh, God.
Gotta have flames on the side too.
Isn't there one around here that has flames?
It has
on
flames and it has all chrome trim.
Oh,
It's some high school
Jesus.
girl that drives it.
Uh,
It had out of state dealership plates, so
I
she
hate
must have bought it out of
but,
state.
but to me, I think the PT Cruiser Turbo is a cool car, just based on it's fast and it's unassuming, and you see one and you go, whatever, PT Cruiser, and then you hear it take off and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
hello. I think that's a cool car. But the next one, I completely agree with you. I think it should not exist. It should never have existed. And I just think it's a terrible fucking car.
Nissan Juke Nismo.
What do you even get with the Nismo?
You get red trim. Sorry, you get red.
You get red trim and spiky ground effects.
Yeah, I believe the Nismo. I think they have. I believe they might be turbo. I drove one. I drove one when I used to work for that. I used to work for a company where you drive drunk people home and the
First call.
Yeah, it's called First Call here.
Yeah.
And I did drive a Nismo.
I think that's a great idea.
Nismo
I think
Juke.
that's fun because
And
you get to drive cool fucking cars all day.
I felt like I
And
should have been wearing a tampon while driving it, but it was
fucking
terrible.
terrible.
It was pretty quick though. It got up
Yeah,
and went.
but it's not worth it.
There's
the rest
also
of the
a-
package. The Juke is the ugliest car made in the last 30 years.
There's also another one that a Juke like R or something like
Oh,
that
God.
that is actually fast. But other than that,
I
yeah.
take your Nissan Juke Nismo and I raise you Nissan Murano Cross Cabriolet. I saw one of those in town.
Oh no!
The
no,
convertible,
no, no.
the convertible Murano, a car so terrible on its own that the convertible.
I forgot those existed.
Yeah, the one time a convertible actually makes a car worse.
Well, the convertible makes a lot of cars worse.
I like convertibles.
I am not a convertible guy. So
I'd
that's
rather have a PT Cruiser convertible than a hard top, actually.
I'm gonna puke.
I would, you know what? Just for the sheer obscenity of it, I would take a PT Cruiser with wood paneling convertible, white top, white guts.
White top, white guts would be cool.
Yeah, that would be Mini Cooper S convertible. Please explain.
Okay, I think I'm talking about the
You know,
hard
like
top.
the little roll bars that go over the.
No, I'm talking about the little hard top one. You seen the one that drives around town?
Is it silver?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my neighbor.
That thing is disgusting looking.
I don't.
It looks so fucking weird. The back, I don't know.
I
know
don't
that
think it's bad.
I know they're a quick car.
Oh yeah,
They're a quick car. They're not they're not a slouch, and they're fun to drive. But driving next, his wasn't even an S.
His wasn't even an S. It was non-turbo.
It was a fun
1.6
little car to
piece
drive.
of crap.
And I wouldn't mind owning one of
A
those.
British
but,
car built by Germans with a French engine. What could go wrong?
right? But the S is cool, but not the convertible. It does not do it for me.
Okay, so your next one is interesting to me because I have driven a. What's the other one?
Mark LT.
Mark LT. I've driven a Mark LT, and I think it is
What year?
like 13.
Yeah, the last year.
Last gen. F-150.
They
Where's
didn't make it.
F-150,
13.
not the whatever the last generation of
It's
the
like an
Mark
09.
LT was.
09.
I drove one, and holy hell, the F-150 wears a fur coat nicely.
Yes.
I actually kind of like it.
I very much like.
I like luxury trucks.
that generation, which I believe is 05 to 09.
05, yeah, 5 to 9. Because it was 98 to 04.
The Lincolns that was the Mark LT. Basically, they just were like you said,
It's
an
a Ford up
F-150.
F-150.
Yeah.
It's an F-150.
It had a nicer grill, nicer.
As Mr. Regular says, it's threw on a fur coat and sent out on the corner to make daddy some money.
Yeah, it had a tailgate
But that's
that
true.
had
That's
the
what it is.
typical Lincoln taillights inside the tailgate.
Oh, yeah, that was
And
terrible.
other than that, it
was
had a
like
nice, more sound deadening, nicer
Navigator pickup
interior.
truck.
Yeah, and they were nice. But
I think
this
it's
one is the
Blackwood.
Lincoln
Wasn't that
Blackwood.
only sold in Mexico?
No, we got them here, I believe. The Lincoln Blackwood was the first generation, Navigator pickup, basically. So an F-150.
So it had a Navigator front end on
Yes,
it, as
it
opposed to
was-
the F-150.
and it was the
front
first generation Navigator, which is already an abomination in terms of looks.
end. Guilty pleasure car, but not all the way. Not as much as I like
would
the Escalade EXT.
Rather an Expedition than
I
an
like the Escalade EXT. That's a sweet truck.
But-
Cadillacs, just A1.
And I'm just going solely off of looks. Obviously, underpinning it's still an F-150, which is a reliable truck, but and they still had the 5. I think those Lincolns had the 5.4, so they did have a Triton.
Yep.
I think you could get the 4.6.
3 valve.
I think you can get the 4.6, but
Yeah, I don't know. For the Lincoln, you'd think they would only get the big one.
yeah,
Because
probably
Lincoln is
not.
heinous when they do things, they do it badly.
Yeah, that's true.
They give you the best, like what the hell's that? The Lincoln LS with the 4-liter V8, the
Yep.
Thunderbird V8 with a
The hard to work on one,
yeah, the hard to work on
But-
with the electric water pump.
but bitchin' car.
Yeah, guilty pleasure.
Yeah,
I like
me
it.
too.
I like the way it looks. Your next one, I also do not agree with at all.
Saturn Ion Redline. Actually, any Saturn in general, but any Saturn Redline in general.
It's a Cobalt SS.
It
I
is
have had
extremely ugly.
3
Cobalt.
doors, damn it.
It doesn't matter. It's so ugly. It's in the gauge cluster. I can't do the middle of the dash gauge cluster.
That brings up an interesting point. Cobalt SS gauge cluster. I drove an 07 for like a year. I drove it a lot. It was my buddy's car.
Yeah, Zeus.
Beautiful gauge cluster. I actually really liked it. Not bad, easy to read. I like the red line. I think they're cool. To me, it's just a Cobalt SS except cheaper.
And the only thing I don't like about them is the fact that they look like
A Saturn.
well, yes, they're Saturn, but they're trying too hard. And I get it's like it's the mid 2000s. They're still stuck in the 90s.
And everything looks terrible.
Yeah,
drives
everything looks terrible,
Yeah.
and everybody's like, "Hey kids, don't you want this? It's fast. Look, it's hip and
Yeah.
cool. We're Saturn."
We're Saturn. We're dead in 3 years.
Yeah.
But please buy something.
The only
Let us
Saturn
go
I'd
out
buy
in-
would be the.
Let
how
us
do I
go
say
out
it?
in the black a little
How
bit.
do I say it?
What?
The Aura. Yeah,
Saturn Aura.
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 I
You
would
need to
buy
get
the
an
last
Aura
year of the Aura
massage.
because it's better looking than the Malibu or Impala.
And they need their chakras aligned
And-
and shit.
My friend has one of those, and it has that orange.
An Aura.
Yeah, it has that orange.
They had orange
leather.
piping on the seats. Oh no, the whole seats were orange.
Yeah, the whole interior is like that nice, like it's weird.
And it's like plasticky and terrible, like a
No, the
Camaro.
leather's fine, but the dash is. Ugly.
That's what I mean. It's like the dash and the door panels are all.
The dash looks exactly like a Malibu dash. I'm pretty
I
sure.
hate the new Camaro. The brand new one I don't mind, but the 10, what is it? 10 was the first 5th gen. I hate the interior of that car. We had a SS that was orange interior. The door panels is just acres and acres of plastic. Oh my God, that's terrible.
Yeah, she has this one. That has this interior.
That's more brown. See, that looks good, but that picture is
I believe.
very
Is that a
orange.
Malibu dash or an Impala dash?
It's
No, it's not.
I
They
mean,
have-
it doesn't
they have a-
matter.
they
It's
have a
all
sp-
the same crap.
They have a specific dash. I think it's a Malibu is what they're based on.
Traverse. GM makes a lot of crap these days. Okay,
Good
so your
points.
next ones are honorable mentions to me. Oh, wait, no, I have some worse ones. So this one, you know it was going to be on here. Chrysler TC by Maserati, which I think is a cool car to me. I would actually kind of like one because they're really rare and they're not worth a lot, but they're worth something.
Yeah.
Kind of like G-bodies. But they're terrible cars. They look like a sexy LeBaron. Looks like a LeBaron that went to Italy for a week and came back with a bunch of new suits. Went on vacation.
Like
and
that.
it came back with some new suits, and it drinks wine that's more than 2 years old now. A totally different person. It's a LeBaron. They did have a turbo motor, too. 94 to 96 Chevrolet Impala SS. Not because it's a bad car. I think it's a great car. I would love one. I think they're bitchin'. But as its credibility as a specialty car, it is worthless. It's a Caprice with black trim and some wheels. That's it. You get drop spindles too, I think. That's it. And sway bars. But it's just as fast as a Caprice 9C1, a Cadillac Fleetwood, maybe not the Fleetwood. Fleetwood's heavier. But it's just as fast as a Buick Roadmaster. You put some nice tires on a Roadmaster and you're quicker than an SS. It's not a specialty car when it has absolutely no difference in power. But that's not me shitting on it as a car. I would absolutely love one. I think they're bitchin'. I grew up playing Midnight Club 3.
Oh, yeah.
With the Impala SS in it. I love
it's
that
in
car.
there, yeah.
Let's see, what else do I have on here for shitty cars? 50th anniversary 2017 Toyota Corolla. This is another one that, Corolla's a piece of shit. But its credibility as a specialty car is absolutely nil. What you get with a 50th anniversary Corolla, let me tell to you, you get red stitching on the floor mats with 50th anniversary badges. You get a 50th anniversary badge that goes on the trunk lid that's just glued on and half the time falls off. And you get red piping on the seats. That's it. You get dick with a 50th anniversary Corolla. It's half a century of selling those shit boxes, and they can't just give it a little nudge, like make it stick and give it a short throw and maybe put some cool tires. Oh, yeah, you can still get them in stick.
They only have one engine option, don't they?
I thought there was two. There's a 1.8 and
they're both slow.
There's a 1.8. Yeah, okay, never mind. Yeah, there's just the 1.8.
And they're both slow.
Like 120 horsepower. Or 133.
Well, as long as it doesn't have a CVT, then...
Yes, it does.
Well, you can get them in stick, though.
Yes, you can get them in a stick, but...
you have to order it.
You have to order it because nobody has one. Let's see.
The Corolla S only gets a body kit, doesn't it, still?
Corolla S doesn't get shit. You get wheels. That's it. It's the Corolla... Corolla S. Corolla has no trim levels. You have wheel levels. That's what you get is wheel and tire package levels. You get no options with a Corolla. Oh, would you like leather on the seats? Okay, we'll give you about 6 inches of it. That's all you get. But hey, it works. They sell a shit ton of them. People still buy them for some goddamn reason. This one, I guarantee you have never heard of. The Fila Thunderbird. And I mean Fila as in the shoe company. Like, Sir Mix-a-Lot, what is it?
Yeah.
Is it buttermilk biscuits? Fila's on the bottom and Adidas on the topper. You get like a bag. So you get like white with a red pinstripe and like whitish interior, I believe, with Fila logos on the seats. And black rocker panels with the same ugly-ass turbo wheels. I believe they were all based on turbo cars. I can't be completely sure. But you got a special bag in the back of the car that gave you like a wrist bands, like a visor and like a jacket or something. Like it gave you, it's just stupid. It was heinous. It was just terrible. Like the Fila Thunderbird to me is like the I was just talking about it. The Recaro Firebird. Yeah. You get seats and you get a name printed on the car, and that's all you get. Fila Thunderbird, yeah, and that's just terrible. I already mentioned the Hurst 300, 1970. The newer one is cool. The 04 to 09 body style. Oh, they did make a Hurst one that was cool. They also made a Hurst Challenger. What? In like 09 or 10. But I think the Hurst 300 is a sweet car for that generation because I believe they were all based on SRT8s. You did not get... I lied before. You did not get a Hurst shifter in these newer ones. You just got a stock Chrysler shifter with a Hurst knob. And that's all you got. It was no different. But they were all, I believe, white and gold. White with gold on the... Yeah, that's one right there.
Ooh,
so
not
300C Hurst.
Wheels on it. Those are obviously...
Yeah, to me, I think that's a kind of a cool car.
Yeah, that's cool.
What do I have for crappy cars? Chrysler TCU. Then I have designer cars. So let's go to your...
Yeah, we're going to... This episode's going to go a little long.
This one's going to be a little long, but let's go to your honorable mentions cars, and then I will go to my honorable mentions, which are all designer cars that were shitty. So you go.
Right, so my honorable mentions, one is 17-plus Elantra. I have a thing for Elantras, obviously Hyundai Elantras. But they made a Elantra Turbo Sport.
Is that the 2-liter or 1.6?
It is a 2-liter turbo.
Mm-hmm.
203 horsepower with a factory limited slip
Hmm.
and a 6-speed manual only. And it has that stupid D-shaped steering wheel, but other than that, the inside is very nice and very well appointed, and it is quick.
So that's an honorable mention for good.
Yeah, this is a good honor. All my honorable mentions.
Now, this next one I've heard of because I recently watched a video of a Golf R whooping its ass. But
yes,
the Hyundai i30N. Now we don't get that in the States, do we?
We got the Elantra GT. It's the same car.
Is it?
Yeah, but the Elantra GT Sport Turbo is just the same as the Elantra Sport Turbo with the 2-liter, 201 horsepower.
And this Elantra Sport or Elantra GT is a wagon.
Yeah,
right?
it's a wagon. So this is a hot hatch, is what it's supposed to. With the first N car from Hyundai we're getting here is the Veloster N, which is ugly as hell.
When is that coming?
Next year, I believe. But it's like 260 horsepower or something like that.
Crazy.
Something crazy. It's got this really cool like red trim underneath the bumper, like in a diffuser, which I think is cool. And
that might be a cool car.
It could be a cool. Too bad we're not getting it, but there will be more Hyundai N cars coming.
Ooh, I didn't even think of that till now. I was only thinking of cars that we got in the States, but the RS series, RS Avant.
Oh yes. Those are a guilty pleasure.
God, I love wagons. They're not. I'm not guilty at all. I love wagons.
I love
that
wagons.
shit is cool. V10 in a wagon, like the RS7, the RS3 Sportback. That's one we don't get in the States, but that is a sweet car. Those things sound nasty when you put exhaust on them.
And my next one,
Little Red Express,
and the Midnight Express,
and the Midnight. I wasn't sure if
and
you were
the
going to
Warlock.
remember the Warlock. Yes, I was not sure that you were going to remember those two.
Those.
So that
are badass.
So to me, I like Chrysler's shadiness on this one because what they did is they figured out you could cheat emissions on vehicles if you equipped the car with a police interceptor engine. You did not have to have such strict regulations on
police motors,
fuel economy, or emissions on police engines. So what they did is they took their D150 pickup truck, single cab step side. Gave it some wood trim on the bed.
Fucking stacks.
And smokestacks with a 360 police police interceptor engine out of a Dodge Diplomat?
Yeah.
Or a Monaco, I guess, at that time. And they were cool. I believe, I heard it very recently that the Little Red Express, when it came out, was the fastest production American car for sale at that time. And it was a truck.
And then the Midnight Express is all black.
Yes, the Midnight. So I forgot to mention the Little Red Express is red, obviously.
Yeah.
And the Midnight Express is black, but it almost looks purple.
And the Warlock is black and gray, isn't it? Or...
Yeah, I think the Warlock is like the same damn truck, except it's more purpley blue.
Yeah.
I thought. I think those are cool. Why do you have Saab 92X Aero on here? Isn't that the wagon?
Yes, this is the.
Is that the Subaru?
Yes.
Yeah,
I think the Subaru. Cool. I think they were cool, and I would love one of those over a Subaru. That is just my opinion. I believe you can still get them with the Boxer engine, can't you?
I don't know. My aunt is her whole family is very big into Saabs. Her father's father was actually ran the first Saab dealership in the States.
Okay.
So they're a Saab family, and he has a Sonnet with the V4.
Oh, okay.
Damn, that's a cool car. I believe he has a 9.5. I think it's a 9.3 turbo convertible, like a 95. And they had a wagon, like the last one. It has like 285 horsepower. My aunt had this. It's like 280. It's like 300 horsepower. It's ridiculous. And
right.
It's okay. This is a stupid fact about Saabs that I absolutely hate about them. Me coming from a Hoonbag position, the parking brake on Saabs activates the front wheels.
Really?
Yeah.
On all Saabs?
I believe so, which is dumb.
Even their direct rebadged counterparts of GM vehicles?
Except for that 9.7.
Is that the SUV?
Whichever one was the Trailblazer. I don't remember.
Yeah, that's just an SUV.
I think that's a 9.7. Maybe
yeah, the
I'm
big
wrong.
one, yeah.
Next one, Alfa Romeo Giulio. Which one?
The fast one. Sorry, the
new
Quadrifoglio, whatever the...
Quadrifoglio.
Yes.
Do you know the story behind that?
I do not.
I can share it very briefly. So, there was a racing driver in the 20s and 30s that raced for Alfa Romeo, and I believe he raced with Ferrari because Enzo Ferrari raced for Alfa. Before.
I remember hearing about this in a Smoking Tire podcast, I think.
Really? Okay, I don't remember that.
Maybe.
So
Maybe it was Smoking Tire, but go ahead.
This racing driver who raced with Ferrari, and he was with the first factory racing team with Alfa Romeo, he finished races just fine, but he never had much luck. He never won any races. So for one race, he decided to put a quadrifoglio, a four-leaf clover, on the front of the car. And it was on one of his racing cars, and he went on to win that race. Now, the unfortunate part is later in that season, he actually died in a race, so his luck had run out.
Yeah.
It was brief, but yeah. And so for some reason, I'm assuming for sentimentality, on his car, it was a square with a quadrifoglio on it. I believe after that, they turned it into a triangle logo because a member of the team had been killed.
Yeah.
So thus creating the quadrifoglio performance brand or performance-oriented or special edition Alfa Romeos after that point. But the Giulia Quadrifoglio, I think, is a bitchin' car, even though it's car of the year, but does reliability have anything to do with car of the year? Because I've heard.
I don't think because Motor Trend Motor Trend is like you can have car of the year, like they just throw that shit out. So
GTI has had car of the
Spike.
GTI has had car of the year like 5 times, which it's a bitchin' car. It deserves
the
it.
The Taurus was the car of the year. The RoboCop Taurus was the car of the year for a while back.
RoboCop Taurus.
Yeah,
God, those are terrible. So my next one, my honorable mentions are Beretta GTZ. To me, that's a cool car. Quad 4 Oldsmobile engine. They're not reliable, but they make 185 horsepower. I know an ad for the GTZ that says the Quad 4 has has more juice than a lot of V8s.
Bold statement, but okay.
It was true at the time. The designer Lincolns, 77 to 79.
The Bill Blast.
The Givenchy, I actually happen to like. Green and gold, very nice car.
Those have the little jewels, right? Or, no.
There was a Jubilee edition.
That's
the Jubilee edition is equally terrible as the Bill Blast. The Bill Blast car is just god awful.
The white seats, though.
I don't give a shit. Like the exterior is so bad that it doesn't matter. Black or blue and silver. I just don't dig blue or silver. There was a Pucci.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't afford
Gucci
because Givenchy was the green one, I believe. And then there was the Cartier. And later on in the 90s, there was a Cartier town car.
Yeah.
And it was basically the Signature Series town car.
Because there was a Signature, the Executive, and they had a Cartier.
Oh, the Executive Series. I forgot about that one. So I believe the Cartier was silver or maybe like a white pearl. I don't remember exactly. But from Pucci to Gucci, somebody had the Gucci contract. I don't remember who it was. Somebody made a Gucci car. However, Cadillac made a swap meet Louis Seville, a Louis Vuitton Seville that had LVs on the seats, and it was just, you should actually try and find a picture of that. It was the early Seville, the K-body Seville, the rear-wheel drive one with the fuel-injected Olds 350 in it. That's a guilty pleasure car. People hate on them, but I actually kind of dig it. But I think they're cool. Louis Vuitton Seville, you're getting the store in Spain.
That is
Jesus Christ, that's a Sierra. Just type in Cadillac Seville Louis Vuitton. But yeah, so there was a Louis Seville that was. I happen to think it was cool. Okay, that is. Is that plaid? Because it looks plaid from here.
It's little Louis Vuitton symbols. I'm gonna put that in this.
That has to be in the video
for
because
you
this
guys.
is an entire This is a '76 Cadillac Seville that is entirely covered in Louis Vuitton logos. It looks like plaid from here. Actually, that is quite terrible. Okay. So that one there, right in the middle, with the left, right one, right there. That I believe
headliner.
Or wait, no. Maybe that's not a Louis. That might be a Louis one. But there was a Louis Seville that was interesting.
They had a Louis Vuitton edition Cadillac Escalade?
Oh, God. It's not even the long wheelbase one. There was a Cartier... the assless Seville. These cars are... Bustleback. That's what everybody calls those. I call it the assless Seville, but most people call it the Bustleback. That Escalade's got some
Seats.
Nice seats. Other designer cars, the Oleg Cassini Matador.
The hell is that? I'm gonna have to look that up.
So AMC Matador was their, like, I believe it was
You
a
say
mid.
Oleg?
Oleg, Oleg, Cassini. Oleg Cassini Matador. You got fancy paint, a nice interior. Oleg Cassini's that creepy looking guy with the mustache there.
Oh wow.
I think they were cool. I read about one in Hemmings. I think it was Hemmings not Motor News. It's Hemmings Classic Car a couple of years ago. I think that's a cool car. I think the Oleg Cassini, as far as designer cars go, which generally suck. What was that Chrysler like 2 years ago? Type in Chrysler 300 designer 2013, something like that. There was a designer Chrysler, and I don't remember. No, I don't want Ralph Giles. I know who he designed it. John Varvatos. That's what it was. There was the John Varvatos edition Chrysler 300, which looks the same as every other 300.
Those wheels, though.
Yeah, they're not bad, but yeah.
Ooh, is that an S? Oh, we didn't get an SRT here.
12 was the last year for SRT. I believe.
We didn't get this body style of SRT. They do make them, by the way. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, that body style would be 12. Was the last year of the SRT of that body style.
Oh.
But yeah, the John Varvatos edition one. That was the beginning of their imported from Detroit campaign that didn't last very long. I don't know. The next one is probably the worst that you're going to have to look up and see this. I'm sure you've heard of them. But yeah, that body style. 12 was the last year for the SRT 300.
The back of them,
which is that body style.
They're right-hand drive, though, because a lot of them are right-hand drive. Because
well, in the States, we had 12 was the last year.
We got this body style of an SRT8.
Mm-hmm. 12 last year.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. They didn't. If you get them out of overseas, they don't have a Chrysler badge. They just say.
Have you
SRT.
seen that? There's a Fiat that's over in
Yeah,
Italy. It's a Journey, but it's called something else.
Well, they have a lot of. There's a Fiat Chrysler 300 that's just called something else. It has the same. It literally looks identical. Fiat.
Yeah, there's a Fiat.
Oh, that's the wrong.
Just type in Fiat Dodge Journey, because I want to find that out. What the hell that's called? Oh, there it is. Oh, it's a Lancia.
Yeah.
Yes, the Lancia Thema.
Sorry.
I forgot about that. Yes,
Yeah,
it's a Chrysler
it's
300.
literally the same exact car.
It's like a.
It has a much nicer interior.
It looks like I played automation and tried to make a 300. That's what it would look like.
It has like.
Which, if you don't know what automation is, please find that game. It's fucking fabulous.
The interior is a bit nicer, I've heard, though. It's got like a nicer dashboard.
More
like,
Italian.
Yeah, it's got like Alcantara and stuff on it.
Oh, God, I hate Alcantara.
And it's got more sound deadening and stuff like that.
So
Dodge Fiat.
I also you need to look at this one as soon as you're done looking at the shitty Journey. The Fiat version of the Journey, the Fiat Fremont, is that what it is?
Well,
it's a Journey.
Try.
No, they did not try at all.
It's exactly the same.
It is
it's
awful.
It's a different grill, and that's it.
Awful car.
They didn't try at all.
No, they didn't. They put different badges
on. Is it right-hand
drive? It's Italy, so probably not.
No, you're right.
It was cheaper that way.
Ew.
Yeah.
What what?
Yeah, it's terrible.
Did Journey dashboards look like that now?
Yes.
That's terrible.
Yeah, the whole car is terrible, no matter what way you look at it.
If it has the big U-connect, it looks better. Okay, go ahead, sorry.
So, next one you're going to have to look up.
Maserati Journey.
Oh, God. Fiat Chrysler Maserati. It's all the same company now. Levi's Edition, AMCs, and Jeeps. There was a Levi's CJ5, there was a Levi's Pacer, a Levi's Gremlin, a Levi's Matador, I believe, and you got denim interior. Like mullet, high levels of mullet. But I would kind of like the denim interior. I think it's just so bad that it's good.
Oh, Jesus, the top.
I bet. Imagine getting grass stains out of seats. I bet it.
Hopefully you're not sliding your seats across the grass.
Yeah, I bet in the sun those things just held up real fucking nice. But yeah, denim seats. The Levi's Edition. This is another interesting point. I wonder if Strauss or his family ever got upset because they just called them Levi's, and now they themselves just call themselves Levi's. They don't say Levi and Strauss. I've always wondered that. Food for thought. So that's all my cars. I believe we went over all of your cars. Yeah.
And I just
That's
had
all
a-
I got for specialty cars. Shitty ones, good ones, crappy designer cars. I'm sure we can do another one on designer cars.
And I just had a comment.
Oh, Coronation Imperial. In 1952, Chrysler made an Imperial they were like purple and gold. You should actually look one up. I want to see a picture of one. It's been a while. For the coronation of Queen Elizabeth, they made the Coronation Imperial. Just do Coronation Chrysler Imperial. I believe it was 53. Rich Corinthian leather. Yes. Or no, it's not rich Corinthian leather. It's soft Corinthian leather is what he says. But my dad, that one, the purple one there, right? Left, very far left, all the way up. That is the Coronation Imperial.
Oh, wow.
Which, if that ain't class, I mean, damn. That's like
Get out of here.
a pimp on The Simpsons would drive a car looked like that.
It's like Saints Row.
Yes, that's what I'm looking for. Yeah, white and purple with the wreaths on them.
Oh, yeah.
I think the Coronation Imperial is actually really cool.
For anybody who... Well,
And that's
I'll
all of
put
what
it up,
Chrysler's
but-
ads were. They all had that hand holding the hood ornament, and it was a different color glove or a different bracelet, depending on
What it is, yeah. That's a-
what kind of special edition it was. But
Good
yeah, the
looking car,
Coronation
though.
Imperial, purple with the black top, actually looks very nice on that car. I think that's
Do a
cool
Coronation
special-
300 of this generation.
She's not dead yet. She's not a new queen yet.
Ah.
She's still alive. God, the 200.
Mm.
All right, I think we've gone through everything
Yeah.
we can. We're at an hour and 20
Yeah.
20
The only
minutes.
comment I had before we wrap things up is I like the rebadged cars because I've always had a thing for rebadged cars for some reason. I
Sometimes
find
they
them very
rebadge it just
interesting.
enough. Sometimes they do it right.
And I find
like
them
the Mark
interesting.
LT. I kind of like the Mark LT. I think that's a nice truck if you rip that piece of shit Triton out of it.
I find the
Throw a voodoo in that bitch. Hell yeah.
differences interesting.
Mhm.
And like for instance, GM was really good with this is when they rebadged all of their cars.
Yeah,
and you
after-
could tell. For
After
instance,
2000, it's all the same stuff.
if you look in the most common, I mean, different sheet metal, of course, but if you look
Barely.
at some of the cars, you can tell by the doors. Like for instance, the back window of like Malibus, you can tell the what their counterpart is.
Right, there's a supercar. I don't remember what it is. You know how UPS trucks use Alero headlights? There's some kind of supercar.
The new UPS.
Oh no, it's the Corvette. Actually, the Corvette uses Oldsmobile Alero door handles. They're leftovers. The C5 Corvette has Oldsmobile door handles.
Well, it's just a lot of supercars did that. They're the
Shelby.
Morris or
Morris.
Yeah, the not Morris, the Morton or
Morgan?
Morgan M40.
I've never heard of that one. I know the Morgans are actually kind of cool.
No.
There was a Shelby that was made that used an Oldsmobile Aurora engine, the 4-liter V8.
Sorry,
And it made
Morris.
like 350 horsepower, and it was actually pretty cool.
Morris M400. Sorry.
You mean the Noble?
Noble. Sorry.
The Noble.
Morris.
Yeah. the
Yeah,
Noble.
it has Hyundai Elantra taillights.
Oh, really?
Yeah, those are
No,
straight
I
out of an
didn't know
Elantra.
I like the Noble M600. I think
Yeah,
that's
the
a cool car.
M600 is cool.
I think it looks really good, but it uses what engine does the M600 use? It's like a Ford V8.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
I believe it's a.
It's a
Actually,
4.6.
it's a 4.6. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like an Intech, a quad cam
Yeah.
motor.
I just love like RVs always interest me because every time I see them, they always have different headlights and taillights that don't make
Yeah,
freaking
yeah.
sense. For instance,
There was a front wheel drive RV that used the Toronado 455 and transaxle.
Really?
Yeah.
and
the
it's
GMC,
weird.
the one that was in stripes. If you've ever seen that movie.
Some of the I just like rebadges. Like for instance, there's a Vauxhall Suburban or an Opel.
Really?
Yeah, it's or is it a Holden Suburban?
Yeah, it's one or the other, or an
Yeah.
Opel probably.
Yeah, it's suburban, but it has they have regulations over there where you have to have an amber turn signal. The taillights have an amber spot in them
Ooh.
too. And I'm talking about the old, not the square body, but the generation after that only had red with no yellow in the taillights. So they look weird. They have the yellow in the reverse light. They're like a square instead of a rectangle.
Oh.
Just stuff like I like rebadges.
Sometimes
they're
I like-
interesting.
I
And they're
also-
right-hand drive. They use a Blazer dashboard that's been extended. I'll show you that.
That's actually kind of interesting.
What's it called? It was a
All you gotta do is just turn the mold backwards. Since that's how it works. Just try Vauxhall Suburban. It's VAU.
No, it's not the one.
Or
Holden.
Holden Suburban.
Holden Suburban. That's the interior. It has
That is strangely familiar and very weird to me.
Yeah, so it's right-hand drive, but let's see, there's the taillights. It's got the reflector. And the Suburban badges are weird on them.
That's actually... Do they all have that big-ass bull bar on them?
No.
That's really cool, though.
Oh, and you should see the amount of trying they did with the...
I still see a bow tie. You might have to find a picture that gets in on the front.
They just stuck a thing over the bow tie.
I can't see...
That's how crappy they were with it.
I cannot see any difference so far.
Hang on.
It's a Suburban.
It is a Suburban, what I'm saying.
Try that one there.
But
try and just Control Plus or whatever. That's a Chevy.
You can't Control Plus.
You can. I do it all the time.
Yeah, but it's not going to help you if you... Why do all of them have bull bars?
I don't know, but it actually looks kind of cool.
See, that one has that too. It's just a thing they stuck over the emblem.
Oh, I see. It's just a little piece of plastic that there's probably a bow tie.
That's a 2500.
There's definitely a bow tie under there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 8 lug with the fender flares.
Oh yeah, that's a 3/4 ton.
Huh.
But yeah, so
That's pretty cool actually.
So yeah, that wraps it up for.
I think we should be done. We've got we've got some material here.
Long,
quite a bit.
Little long today, but
more content. Why not?
We'll have everything up, and hopefully you guys like it. Like you said, be sure to leave comments if you listen to this and let us know what you want us to talk about, because we can take some feedback.
Love suggestions.
We always need ideas, so
we are on YouTube. We will soon be on something else, probably.
We'll figure out how to do Shout Engine.
We'll figure that out.
iTunes.
Follow me on Instagram. Follow us here on YouTube, and wherever else we are. Follow me on Instagram, Andy.Strom97, STRON.
And then we got an Instagram called Enthusicast, so that's for.
Oh yes, that's right.
We have that Instagram as well.
Follow us there. Follow me there. Follow me at my personal one. Doesn't matter.
Yep, and we will catch up with you guys next time.
Yeah. Enjoy yourself.
Enjoy it.